what's up? My name is Chelsea and welcome to my channel. Okay, for this week, I decided to give you guys a tour of my camera collection. I have 17 cameras in total, but there's two I'm not gonna show you, so I'll just show you 15 today. The two that I'm not showing, one is a duplicate of one that I already have that I'll show you, and the other one is the Minolta camera that I'm learning film on that you've already seen. Next week, I should have my film back from my camera and I can give you guys new tips on things that I learned from actually using the camera, and I'll explain to you the settings I used and why I used them. So let's get into it. I have split my cameras up into 4 different categories. The first category will be film cameras, like 35mm cameras. The second category will be Polaroid cameras. The third category will be miscellaneous cameras. The fourth category will be the 4 cameras that I currently keep in my camera bag at all times. So the first camera I'm going to show you is this one. It is a KS Super 2. It also says it's an SR200, not sure what that means, but this camera was from when Sears was dabbling into other markets and they decided to create their own film camera. The second camera that I want to show you is this one. It is a Minolta XGA. This one was the original one that I wanted to learn film on a couple of years ago, but there was a piece that was broken or missing and it would have cost a lot of money to fix it that I didn't want to pay at the time. So I just added it to my collection and I love it. So the last one of the film category I want to show you is this one. This one is also a Minolta camera. It is a Maxim 400 SI. This one was either from a thrift store or from a yard sale. It still has the price on top. It was $10. I've never used it. I don't know if it works, but it's just really cool to have Minoltas of different generations. All right, so on to the second category, which is Polaroid cameras. The first Polaroid that I want to show you is this one. It is a Sun 600 LMS, which stands for Light Management System. I've never used this one. I do want to, but most of my Polaroids all take different film, and film is expensive for Polaroids. So I usually just buy the film that majority of them take. I would eventually like to try this one out, and I think that would be a really cool little series to do on here, is trying out vintage Polaroids that I've collected. This one was also thrifted. It was from America's Thrift Store. It was $3.99. Side note, the last 2 cameras are really good examples of why you should be looking in thrift stores and at yard sales when you're looking for vintage cameras, because you never know what you could look up and find. So make sure that you're checking. And I've actually never bought any of my vintage cameras online before. I've always found mine at thrift stores and yard sales. The second Polaroid camera that I want to show you is this one, and it is the Color Pack Polaroid Land camera. I know this one is definitely from somewhere in the 70s because the film for this one isn't available anymore. They don't sell it, and my only option for ever wanting to use this camera is if I buy some film off of eBay. So then I would just have to risk using expired film and having no pictures, or maybe the camera doesn't even work, who knows. But this one was one of my favorite ones to add to my collection. It's just so unique, so different, and I absolutely love it. I think this one may have been bought by my mother-in-law. I can't exactly remember, or maybe I found it, I don't know. The third Polaroid that I want to show you is this guy right here, and this one is a Time Zero one-step Polaroid land camera. I don't know what year it's from, but I'm guessing somewhere in the 90s. I've never used this one because, again, it takes a different film than the 2 that I like to use, but I would eventually like to try this one out and, again, put it in a new series. The last Polaroid camera that I want to show you is this one right here, which is a one-step land camera. I really love this one because it's different from the other ones because it's not just typical gray or black. It's got this really pretty cream color and the rainbow stripe down the middle. I've also never used this one, but I love it and I'm happy that it's in my collection. Okay, so on to category 3, and these are my miscellaneous cameras. The first one that I want to show you is a vintage one, and it is this one. He is a Kodak Brownie Hawkeye. I don't know if he works, but he's so unique and I love that he's in my collection. He was a birthday present from my mother-in-law. I would eventually love to know if it works and learn how to use it, but for now I love it being in my collection. The second camera that I want to show you in the miscellaneous category is this camera right here. It is a Fujifilm FinePix S5100 digital camera. This one was given to me from my father-in-law. I've never used it. I think it still works, but it was one that he didn't use anymore and he knew I collected them, so he gave it to me. I love having this one in my collection. I love that it has a meaning behind it and it was something that was passed down. The third camera in the miscellaneous category that I want to show you is this one. It is also a Fujifilm camera. It is a FinePix AV. This is a camera that I remember a lot of people having back in the early 2000s. It's one of those that people kept in their purse or in their car or something like that. They kept it handy just to snap a pic before phone cameras were the quality they are now. Also, I'm not sure where this camera came from or how it got into my collection. It just kind of appeared, but it's in there and I'm happy to have it. I'm happy that I have two different kinds of Fujifilm cameras. The last camera in this category that I want to show you is one that has a little piece of my heart because it is the very first DSLR camera that I ever had. Is this one. It is an Olympus Pen E PL1. This is the one that I told y'all about in my very first video. This is my OG, my number one, and it will always be in my collection. I love it so much. It did wonders in its time. It's also really special to me because my mom bought this one for me for Christmas. She listened to me whenever I would tell her over and over, I want to be a photographer, I want to take pictures, I want to have a proper camera to do photography with, and she's just such a great mom. She made it happen for me. So shout out to you, Mama. I love you. Mwah. All right, so we are on to our last category, which are the cameras that I'm currently using and that I keep in my camera bag at all times. So the first one that I want to show you is the one that I mostly use for shoots that I'm hired for. It is a Canon EOS Rebel T6. I have a couple different lenses that I switch out on it, but right now I just have the 55mm on it. And this camera was actually another one that was bought for me from my mom. She helped me upgrade cameras while I was in college because she knew obviously I couldn't spend a couple $1,000s on a brand new DSLR camera. So another shout out to you, Mama. Mwah. I would definitely recommend this camera for people who are learning photography or you're that next step up from beginner, intermediate. I honestly love this camera. There's so many things you can do with it, and especially with the ability to get different kinds of lenses for it. It makes it a really good camera to start with or continue with, whatever your journey is. The second camera that I keep in my camera bag is the first newer DSLR camera that I got to learn with and practice with. It is this one. It is a Nikon D3100, and it was actually lent to me from a fellow photographer friend. She let me learn on this camera and explore and take so many pictures, and this is the one that I would suggest for a beginner to use. It's really easy to learn, it takes really great pictures, and I always keep it in my bag as a second camera if I can't use my Canon. The next two cameras that I'm going to show you are the two Polaroid cameras that I keep in my camera bag at all times. These two cameras were the ones that I had at my wedding. I set up a little Polaroid photo booth for the guests where they took their picture and put them up on a corkboard and signed it, dated it, left a little message, whatever they wanted. So I absolutely love these two cameras. They both take the same film, which is perfect. The first Polaroid camera that I keep in my bag that I want to show you is this one right here. And you can hear it actually charge up from it having new film in it. If you didn't know this, the film is also the battery for Polaroid cameras, which I didn't know until I started buying film for the ones that I had collected. So that's something to note. This is the one that I actually have two of. It is the one-step close-up, and I absolutely love this one. The quality of photo is amazing. I'm pretty sure this is from one of their newer lines in the last, I don't know, 10 years. But anyway, I would definitely recommend this one if you can find it in a thrift store or online. It takes really amazing pictures, and the 600 film that it takes is really easy to get your hands on. The last camera that I want to show you of my whole collection, and the last one that I keep in my camera bag, is this one. It is a Polaroid one-step flash. This one, in my opinion, takes the best photos of any of the Polaroids that I've used, which has only been like 3 of the 5 that I own, but the pictures are super crisp. I would definitely recommend this one if you can find it. Like I said, it also takes 600 film, so it's really easy to find that film, and with this one being one of the ones that I keep inside of my camera bag, it's nice knowing that I just need one type of film for both cameras. All right, well now you have seen all 17 of the cameras in my collection, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below letting me know which camera was your favorite, which one do you have, and if you have any of these and you know where other people could find them, also leave that down below to help others out. Also, if you haven't already, please subscribe. I would love for you to join me on my journey. You can also follow me on social media at Chelsea G Photography. I will link that down below for you. If you have watched all 3 of my videos and you have subscribed, thank you. I appreciate it so much. And I can't wait to put more content out there for you guys. And hopefully next week we will be looking at the results from our film camera. So until then, bye.